Hello, my name is Tranquil Gauss, and this is my presentation on faith and ethics in the field of engineering. First off, what makes engineering so special in the world of ethics? Well, beyond the fact that it's my field of expertise, there are many complicated dynamics for the ethical engineers to navigate. To start, there are many situations you might encounter as an engineer. You'll be working with clients, your coworkers, you'll be responsible for any problems relating to your designs. When it comes to these design decisions, they're often not right answers. And so it becomes the engineer's responsibility to decide what the ethical choice is. In addition to that, there are often terrible consequences for engineering failures. Damage to the company, damage to the environment, or God forbid, damage to the people of the public. Some examples of situations where engineering ethics were not properly carried out involve the I-35W bridge collapse back many years ago. Maybe some of your parents have told you about it, but the westbound bridge going across the Mississippi River in Minneapolis collapsed during rush hour traffic. And it was all due to pushing off maintenance, despite the fact that the engineers knew that the bridge would collapse at some point. The Flint water crisis is another example, very similar. And as with the Challenger rocket and 3 Mile Island, it all comes down to engineers shirking their ethical duties to provide safeguards, testing, and raising conscientious objections to their superiors. The average engineer isn't worried about blowing up the Challenger rocket or causing a bridge to collapse, because often they're not given tasks with such dire consequences or tight tolerances. Now, according to my interviews, there are still ethical concerns, and while they may seem like they're not as severe, they're important, and it's our Christian duty to address them nonetheless. The first one is gossip. Now, it may seem like a small thing, but it can do horrible things to your relationships, your reputation, and the reputation of others, and to the workplace environment as a whole. As Christians, we're called to be better than this world. We're not called to conform to the standards of, talking behind people's backs or bad-mouthing coworkers, bosses. We're called to a higher standard, and it's important to emulate that in the workplace as well as in our day-to-day lives. Another concern is overall job excellence. We shouldn't be working for accolades or admiration or for the approval of our boss. We should be working with the excellence that God wants for us in mind, working for the Lord, not for men. It is our Christian duty to do the best in work that we are given for God's glory. What does this mean for me in particular? What am I going to do going forward? Well, firstly, in the spirit of seeking excellence and doing everything I do with grace and humility, I'm going to seek to work for the glory of God, not for my own success, not for my bosses, not for my coworkers or the clients, but for God's glory. Secondly, I'm going to work for the good of my neighbors. That means my clients, coworkers, bosses, anyone I come in contact personally. It's my job to shine the light of Christ for them, whether that be overtly through my words or actions, or even subtly through the way I talk, the way I carry myself, and the way I treat them with respect and dignity. Finally, I'm going to work for the future of mankind in general. As an engineer, there are many opportunities for paying things down the line, for making improvements that last a lifetime, even as something as small as, say, fixing up a grain elevator. That's going to yield benefits and blessings for years to come for the farmers working with that grain elevator. Likewise, with all things in engineering, any designs that are put into practice have the potential to be blessings for the people of the world down the line. And it's important to keep that in mind as we are pursuing our God-given duties. Thank you for watching my presentation. Like, subscribe, drop a comment down in the chat below if you actually watched it, and want your Bethel email attached to my Bethel Emails YouTube channel.